No, you do not want to touch wine with that
Live?
entree. Yeah,
All right,
I
we're
really
live,
do.
everybody.
That's what I want. Oh, sorry.
All right, time is 6:03. This meeting of the Fern Bluff Municipal Utility District Board of Directors has come to order. All directors are present. Director Horton, how do you feel about giving us the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I was trying to count 5 and I kept getting 4, and I forgot about this guy. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Horton. All righty. Normally this would be the time we would do citizens communications. But,
Texas Lawn and Garden, Brian Schmidt called. He has COVID for the third time.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, no, we're all good. I'll give you a report. I won't give a lot of the report. We are back on weekly service in our parks. This is the week that we are doing green belts. We started over in Oak Brook, and then we'll move this direction to the Stone Canyon Fern Bluff area. Of course, it's spring. All the grass is really high, but our contract is every 3 weeks, and it always has been. In the spring, we have very fast growth, and unfortunately, it gets higher than some residents like. Same thing sort of happens in the fall with the blue sedge. Yeah. Hay looking stuff. But most of the year, 3 weeks is a good time span for our greenbelt mowing. Our ponds are not really looking much better in Oak Brook. There's some huge algae growth.
is the fountain functional?
The fountains are functioning. The fountains don't really help with the algae. They really just kind of keep the water moving, mostly for mosquitoes. And this year, the algae seems to be affecting the fountains. But again, this happens every single year in early spring when everyone is fertilizing their yards. And that fertilizer, those are retention ponds, and that fertilizer runs down into the outfalls and into the ponds.
So the phosphorus is draining off.
Mm-hmm.
Nitrogen.
The nitrogen.
The more rain we get, the more it will help. But hopefully within the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's like the ponds turn and the algae sort of sinks. And we're treating it, but you can only treat so much, if you will. This is just natural for ponds like this, and every pond in our area is that way. It's even the duck pond, even over neighbor. This is just what happens when it is also, stormwater outfall. You're going to get this algae. It's called an algae bloom. Trying to think
So
what
we just need to
else.
give it time and it'll proceed.
We have to give it time, and our residents don't like the look of it. It does
I'm
have
sure.
a bit of a smell to it, but the more we kill the top very quickly, the smell gets really worse. So that's why we try to do this balance of trying to keep it in check. But we go in and try to do a major algae kill, and it will stink to high heaven. And it sort of affects the way the algae will naturally turn and go to the bottom. So I say we just, stay the course. We've been doing this for a number of years. That's pretty much all.
And
So-
Parks are looking fabulous. We're doing some maintenance work, doing some sod replacement. Always happens, high traffic areas where the kids specifically play very hard, Fern Bluff being one of those areas. So we're doing some repairs there. We have reseeded over in Cheatham. If y'all remember, y'all approved that project back there. And it's going to hopefully come back with a vengeance with the Bermuda over there. Our butterfly gardens, our pollinator gardens are looking great. The rain obviously is helping. So that's what I have for our
All right,
parks.
that's it for landscaping. Great.
Just so you know, one of the pond's fountains is not operating, but Goodwin knows about it.
Okay.
So I
The
think it's
bubblers
gonna-
are working.
the
It's
bubblers
just
are
that
working,
fountain. Yeah.
right, but the fountain itself, at the end of Graceland, Graceland Trail is not operational at the moment. It's been off for almost a week now, so I'm
Okay.
not sure what the problem is.
All right. But Goodwin knows about it, and it's on the list
Yeah,
to get serviced.
since Oak Brook HOA owns those.
Yes, they do.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Very good. All right. All right. No citizen communications. We've done landscaping. Consent agenda. Do we have anything to remove from the consent agenda?
We have one change on our minutes. Mark just pointed this out to me. Middle of the page where TLG is giving their report, it says once monthly. It's actually they're going to once weekly in our park, so we need to correct those minutes. I also did not get the community center report in y'all's packet, so you each have a copy of it. Cindy took a well-deserved vacation last week, so
Yay.
no kidding. I think that's all I have for the consent agenda.
Okay, so one change of the minutes, otherwise consent agenda stays the same. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion approved by Director Stemko, seconded by Smith. All in favor? Vote carries 5-0. Consent agenda is approved. All right. Roads Committee, anything new for roads?
Anything new for roads? I've not received any updates on the expected extension. I don't know if this is water or roads, but the bridge project, unfortunately, we had to move our water lines and everything down there, and a tap was put in for us to have a water meter down there. Obviously, Williamson County Trail, all of the water fountains on that section are tied to a Fern Bluff mud water line. There was just an agreement, a gentleman's agreement years ago that when the Brush Creek Regional Trail was put in, each entity that could along their section would provide water for the water fountains. Unfortunately, during this whole process, those lines had to be disconnected and were supposed to be moved. So the water fountains along the section that is Fern Bluff mud boundary, those water fountains are not working. And it's because we can't find the line. We're working with the county, we're working with the engineers, we're working with the parks department, because everybody's getting phone calls because those water lines, the water fountains aren't working. We've been digging and digging and digging. So if you as board members get an email about, number one, the water fountains are Williamson County's. They are. The water service Fern Bluff Mud has been providing at no cost to the county. We're going to probably be faced with putting in a new tap, and we will have conversations with the county as to what will occur with their water fountains. So that's where we are with that bridge project. They kept saying, it's on the as-built. No, it's not.
So the lines that can't be found, those are the old lines or the lines that have been moved?
It's the
new tap.
the new lines with the new tap. We don't know if it's under a sidewalk. We don't know if it's in there.
God.
I think we're gonna call it the Houdini meter.
Government
Can't find
work at its finest.
Exactly.
I suggest you call a water diviner.
Well,
I tried.
we truly have tried pretty much everything. We need water in that area because that's the corner that we're going to plant. So for Fern Bluff Mud's purposes, we've got to have a meter set down there. I'm just going to leave it there. How's that?
We got a
Couple
ghost line.
roads did.
All right.
We are working with the county. We really need them to engage with us here.
I take it all this information wasn't on any of the plans that they
Wasn't documented well? Is what
wasn't
it sounds
documented
like?
at all,
Yeah.
apparently.
Or
No
if at all.
schematic?
It was documented,
No
just
schematic?
not well.
Oh,
That's a good way to put it. Just not well.
Not well.
Not unheard of in a road project. Okay. I will just say that, but this was a bit critical. I'm not sure how this got missed by them.
I'm glad it wasn't something more important, like a
Agreed.
gas line or something.
oh,
Okay.
hurry up and finish, you know?
Yeah.
The first contractor they had on that bridge project was not great. They
Didn't
just
last.
weren't.
There are
No.
issues.
I mean, y'all remember that when we were trying to get our water line moved and everything. It was just a nightmare pretty much all through 2020. It was bad. But the bridge is nice. It's done. We just got to find water.
Traffic.
That's an
So we'll
odd thing
get
to
some water.
say. That's an odd thing to say as a water
For-
company.
for a
We need to
month.
find water. I know. We need to find our own water.
Just gonna do it our own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine.
That's our roads.
Okay, that's roads. Let's do the general manager's report and operations report.
Okay. My report is there on page 24. As a handout, I gave each one of you the proposal and such for Veterans Park. That's the first park that we want to rehabilitate, if you will, new equipment and such. Parks Committee, we haven't finalized the color scheme, but that doesn't change the cost at all. I'm trying to think. So the layout's there, the proposal is there, their warranty information, everything is in there, and it's right at $126,000 for Veterans Park. Now, this is expanding that play area just a little bit, which we have the space for, and it's actually kind of needed. But that includes demolition, installation, the park equipment. But I do want to say that once it's all, well, actually, before it starts, I've talked to Texas Lawn and Garden. They will preemptively work on our irrigation systems down there, move what they need to move, etc. After it's done, we will need to go in and probably reconfigure the irrigation and put in probably some new sod and that type of thing. You know, it's our park, whatever. So that cost is not figured in there, but it does include the kitty mulch, the whole shebang.
Okay.
I love it.
So-
I think I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
Parks
go ahead.
Committee, y'all jump on it.
I think it's very well thought out. I can see parents of this age range from all over our district coming specifically to this park. And I think it will get a lot more traffic. I did notice they put a couple of those bouncy things in there.
The
I
little bear.
wasn't sure how you felt about that since they were ridden by teenagers in the past.
I think we ought to give it a shot. These aren't as, they're more,
They're smaller.
they're smaller and more slender. So it would be harder, I think, for a larger person to, try to ride it. I mean, they'll do it. There's just all there is. I mean, that's just kids. But we do have cameras.
And
So
we
maybe,
how to use
some of
them.
our signage may help. We can change some of our signage down there. But it's really cute. And the one thing that I would recommend that we change or add to that are the mother-child swing, where the mom can sit on, one side of the swing, the child is facing her, and they swing. That was one of the things in our survey that people really wanted. And I've heard that every time I've talked to people in our parks.
Yeah, and we did mention that to them.
We did.
So,
But they may have, I think we talked about it when we were at Brightwater about veterans.
okay,
But-
right.
We can see about adding that, another swing there, because that would be really good, especially for small children. You know, this is really the 2 to 5 year olds, but that would be a really good thing for even the, 1 up to 2 year olds for their moms. That would be my recommendation.
And there's so much space. I think you can practically leave everything the way it is.
We'll have to change some of our borders. Some of the rock borders, they're not going to look the same, obviously, because of age. But I think that's perfectly fine.
So my question is, well, first off, as far as the like bouncy rocky horses, whatever, those are already there.
We have one there now. The other
Okay.
two we have 2 there now. One of them was destroyed.
But my question is, so I'm looking at this and I'm trying to, I just looked up a picture of what we have. How different is this than I know the equipment needs to be updated. I'm not saying that. How much different is it than what we already have?
It's quite a bit different. And well, number one, our equipment is aged out. We
Yeah.
really have to begin replacement, just for safety reasons. But we're adding a couple of extra features like the little spinner.
It's more interactive.
Thank you. There we go. The actual playscape itself is a little bit bigger and it has more features on it. It's not dramatically different, except it's new and safer equipment than what we have. I'll just say that
There's
way.
nothing really that replaces the train. I mean, I know kids love to drive that and all, but again, these are things that are going to engage kids
Mhm.
more, and it's more sensory. The spinning wheel, the sound, all that, the tic-tac-toe, little kids can start playing tic-tac-toe pretty young.
Easy, and it's interactive with their parents, which is really good. The train end of life, we've got some problems with the wood that's down there and the bolts that are starting to come up. We have to keep putting back in there. And the train was good for a time, but it's like they come out with they do a lot of studies for kids, all age groups. What do they gravitate to when they see a playground? What are the ones that they stay away from? It's kind of shocking to me how much information is out there as far as kids, and color is a big thing. They the green, the dark forest green that we currently have isn't as appetizing to a child.
Stimulating.
Stimulating is a good word. And so there's a lot of studies done on that, and the more individual play you can have in a playground with options for joint play with this age group kids, the better. Because a lot of children at the 2-year-olds, they do individual play or with a parent. They don't play with their friend because of it's just where they are. You start getting into the 3s and 4-year-olds, then they like to play with their friends. And that's why some of these pieces are in there, like the little spinner thing that are seated down. It's not like the old school, what were those things called?
Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round, thank you. It's more seated and it's more safe. So
a couple of more points to add on here. This does not call attention to the fact that it's an increase in the area of the play area. So the features are further apart. They're better space, which helps both traffic and safety of the kids. It also gives them a place, as Janie mentioned, kind of separate activities and group sizes. The playscape, the play area is also ADA accessible. It has a roll-up ramp. The play material is more wheelchair friendly, as well as some features are more accessible or compliant to kids who might not be running around on 2 feet. So that's also an upgrade path that our current feature does. The current playground does not offer.
Very well said.
As long as I have the talking stick, I did notice on the second page, there's a rather long list, kind of a risky list of things that are not included in the bid. Drilling through rocky soil. We know what the dirt's like what the earth is like underneath the soil here. Hitting private water, sewer, internet connections. Survey is not included. Survey will be required. I don't know whether or not they'll have to crane in the play feature, or if it's something they'll build on site, but that's something to, I guess, consider. This could, latrine on site, dumpster, construction fits, geotech report. These things could roll up to, I don't know, 15, 20K, just guessing. Just keep that in mind. Granted, nothing's for free. The bulk of the expense is going to be the hardware and the installation, as mentioned on the previous, the first half of the proposal. But these aren't going to be trivial expenses on top of it. So don't be surprised when the final check comes. It's not $126,000.
No, that's right. And I'm glad you said that. In most construction projects of this size, and it will be even more so as we get to the bigger parks, we need to add in at least a 10% change order. There's just stuff they're going to run into that you can't plan for. And so just assume proposal plus 10.
It'd be a contingency budget of the project.
Speaking of that, and we have been planning to do a park
Oh, for a long time.
for 5 years. So I did some research, and every budget period we have been putting in our parks capital improvements cost, money for our parks to replace our tennis courts. We've been planning for this. We've been putting money aside, if you will, to do that. We haven't spent it because it's taken so long to get to where we are. But I just want to give you some figures, okay? In 2019, we budgeted $628,000. In 2020, 609. 2021, 569. 2022, 954. 2023, 834. Because we knew that this was going to be a very expensive project, we've been budgeting to get to the place to be able to do this without harming our bottom line, without harming our reserves, anything. We've got right at $1 million and set aside, y'all see that every month in our 2 park accounts. Plus we've got the other $2 million in our reserves from this money that we've been budgeting year after year to get to this place. We've done it very smartly, very conservatively. So where we're talking big numbers for these parks, parks are expensive. They just are. And we've known that, but we've been planning to get to this point so that we're not going to do a tax increase. We're not having to do anything financially because the funds are here. And let's see, if I had to say, I did kind of a cost estimate based on a lot of the conversations we've been having. Oh, and because we're using buy board, you'll see that on the proposal, that 5%. So buy board goes in and makes agreements with vendors, so that we know that we're getting the very best price for that equipment. It's a cooperative, school districts use it, municipalities use it. So we're getting a very good deal by using our buy board. And we don't have to go out for competitive bidding because buy board does that work for us. So I feel very comfortable with that. But let's just say veterans is going to be 150, Fern Bluff 600, Brightwater 600. I would say we are probably going to spend right around 2,600,000. But we've been budgeting so well, we budgeted 3.5. So that 10% with of additional cost isn't even going to shock us. We will do the very best we can to hit the numbers as we get the proposals per park. But as a board, y'all have done this very, very well. We're not having to cut operations. We're not having to raise taxes. This has been on a 5-year plan. I was hoping to do it 3 years ago, but here we are, COVID. Now, the other thing, I don't want to use the word supply chain, but just the environment that we're living in now. If you guys approve Veterans Park tonight, it probably is not going to be in until October or November. That's how far out this is going to be. It could even be by the end of the year. So this is long range planning, even when we agree to a proposal. So my hope is by the end of May, I will have some pretty good parks committee with the vendor, with the plans for the other parks. But we're looking at installation for that in 2025.
And this
That's
is,
how long of a process this is.
I mean, you all saw it, but that's contingent on us approving this month.
Exactly.
If we don't order it by May,
It's more expensive.
well,
Well,
it's going to
it's-
be delayed till January.
So reading the letter from Josh Bailey of Warlick's, 6-month lead time, and then looking at, October, November, probably even January 2025, the last paragraph of the opening letter on the packet. So yeah, it's not a turnkey. It's not a delivery for Amazon, obviously.
No,
But-
and the other piece of that is, I always have to check myself because we don't live in a fishbowl and it's only Fern Bluff Mud that's doing parks. We all know what, our country's growing. Our specific region is just going crazy, population wise. And unfortunately, we got to have a lot of lead time.
Yeah, there's.
We got to get in line, I
So just
guess.
in the area, right? There are new neighborhoods and other areas like ours you're trying to. So I can see a demand, at least certainly in the area as well.
Exactly.
So
Every school that goes up's got to have a playground.
Sure.
Every school that goes up, their equipment is they're very stringent on when it hits X years, it's got to be replaced. There's no wiggle room there. So that's just kind of, unfortunately, I always would like to have it in 60 days. Aren't y'all going to be out here in 60 days?
This quote is only good for 30 days from the 18th.
Yeah, Josh said don't worry about that, but
Well,
So the upshot of that also is it'll come in, based on about now, it'll come in the cold season, right? Not during the summer. They'll be tearing it down
Right.
in the next 3 weeks. And it'll be kind of the cool season as they're doing construction. So when nice weather rolls around next year, it'll be ready to go. Just a thought.
All right. So
hang on just a minute, George. So
Sure.
a couple questions that I've got.
absolutely.
First off, this is one bid, right? Aren't we supposed to have 3 for this kind of price?
I think you
Is
missed the
that-
buy
Check
board.
me if I'm here.
Go ahead.
That's why we're going through buy board,
Right.
because they've done the bid process for us.
That's exactly right.
That's why that discount is what's the word, itemized
Yeah.
on the bid.
That's
what that
right.
is.
Discount 5%.
That's right.
Okay, now on the same note, even though we trust Buy Board to do the bidding for us, aren't we required by law to see at least 2 other bids before we vote?
No, that's what Jenny's trying to explain is that through buy board, they do the competitive bidding essentially for you. And that's a resources that any political subdivision in the state can use pretty much. So,
All right, now my other question is, Janie, you said that we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.5 million in our parks investment fund.
Mhm.
Where is that? Because like, for instance, looking at page 21 in the packet, our parks balance sheet, that's just under $1 million there.
Okay, that's why I was sort of explaining on the year by year. Like in 2019, well, let's just take last year, 2023. If you remember, every year when we do our budget, we have our overall budget, and then we have all of our little subheadings for maintenance, for
Right.
operations, and parks. So that amount on that park spreadsheet is part of our overall budget that's carried under our capital improvements.
Right.
Okay. So every year that we don't spend that, that's in our reserve.
So that's what I'm saying.
Look at page 19.
So you're wanting to know where is it in the checking account? I'll tell you.
Yeah, where is that?
Where is
Page
my,
19 at the top for parks. It's got almost $1 million sitting in there.
okay, that's in the
That's what
two
I'm saying is
designated
that
park accounts. All right,
In
hold
the
on.
park account, we've got almost $1 million.
That's right. But we have $6 million in our reserve account.
It's unallocated.
That's correct. And that $6 million has grown every year by us budgeting that capital improvements piece for parks and not spending it. So if
That's
you look
what's-
at the P and L,
So from what I understand is that, now granted, like I said, yeah, we've got almost $1 million in our parks fund. And I understand that. So if doing all the park stuff costs more than that $1 million, which from what you said, it's looking at somewhere around 2.5, we're going to take that money out of the general fund.
correct.
But
Because
We
that-
could, yeah.
But we
absolutely could.
added it from the park reserves that we didn't spend.
No,
So it's
I
cumulative.
understand that. I'm just saying, I'm just asking, where is that money now? And it's been, so I'm just asking, okay, we've got almost $1 million that is labeled parks in our parks checking account. I'm just asking, where are we going to take the other $1.5 million when it comes time to pay for all this? It's just a clear, I know exactly where everything is because George and I sat there and said, yes, let's do this. This is a great idea. I know that we went through that.
Right.
All I am asking is, where is that money sitting right now? And you answered my question. It's sitting in the general funds account. When we go over, when we exhaust our parks fund, we're going to take money out of the general funds account.
That's right.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah, if you'll look on page 18, that's our cash journal. And if you look at the general operating investments, it's sitting there in
Right.
tax pool right now, gathering what little bit of interest
Yeah,
we
and, you know,
get.
if we wanted to, Kevin, and we could move more money to the parks fund until it gets spent out on this stuff. If we just wanted to show,
If,
you know, that it's
that's
coming
right.
from there. So we can handle it however we want.
That's right.
But that's, you know, Jenny's point and your point, you know, we have the money there to do it. We've
Right.
done a great job of saving for a rainy day in case of a disaster and capital improvements, all that other stuff. So, but yeah, to answer your question, almost $1 million in parks, a bunch in general revenue that we can just spend it from there. Or if we want to slide it into parks until the stuff is, you know, we have proposals in front of us and vote on it. We can always do that too. We're coming up, you know, it's almost June. If we want to move some more money into parks, just to earmark it for that stuff so it doesn't get used for something else. You know,
And that is
we can
that's
do
an
that.
accounting issue. That's exactly right.
Right,
We
right.
we can take, and personally, I think that we should. you know, once we kind of get to where we're going, every time we know that it's going to need to come from our uh, text pool account, go ahead, transfer it into the parks fund. The problem is, text pool, getting money from text pool, it's always a long process. So we would just write a check and then we would do accounting notices as, I'm sorry.
An entry.
Yeah, entry, thank you.
Does it get trickier
I couldn't
though?
think about it.
If we have money in parks though, we can't move it back to the general fund. That's the other part of it, right? Once it's in the parks fund, it's kind of earmarked for something. It's not as easy to get it out of there.
It's not as easy. That is right. So we would use our parks funds first. But none of this money came from bond money or anything. So all of these accounts are unrestricted.
Right.
Both parks funds and our reserve account. Okay. It's just a matter of how we would want to show it for our P&Ls.
And we can review annually because it's not like, this is going to be a several year process.
That's right. I mean, if we were to really get serious about this and we really like the proposals, we can make easy changes to our big parks. I mean, we're looking at the earliest would probably be 2025. Because it's not a fast process to do all the installation either. We're probably looking at mid 2025 before our major parks are done.
Good questions, Director Barnes. Much appreciated.
I mean, I think that we do, maybe we can talk about it in June when we meet.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely something that, and I understand it's an accounting issue. I understand it's just this line item and this line item, and it's just numbers, moving numbers around. But I think considering that, I think that it would be a good idea if we look and say, okay, because I just, after our meeting a couple of months ago and heard the state of our water system, I'm kind of concerned that, I mean, I agree. Our parks are 20 years old. They need to be updated. They need to be, there's lots of safety stuff that need to be taken care of. But also at the same time, if our water is in as bad a shape as it possibly could be, you know, we have another hot summer this year like we did last year. I mean, we're looking at stage 2, stage 3 drought, which causes a bunch of damage to our equipment and to everything and stuff like that. I mean, I just want us to be mindful, and I don't want to pull money out of that operating fund and say, okay, we've got these nice new safe shiny parts that look good, and then when we actually need that money, it causes a problem.
Yeah, we've done a good job of spreading these capital improvements out historically. I mean, we have the wish list every year, and we never exhaust the wish list. We always save stuff for, all right, let's put that off till this year. I mean, even this park, I mean, we're coming up on the end of the fiscal year, and we're getting around to this proposal. So we're probably not even going to spend this money out, all of it out in this fiscal year. Some will get spent out in the next fiscal year.
No, that's right. We budgeted $834,000 for parks this year. We're going to spend 125, 150 in this budget. Okay. So, and I understand what you're saying, and it is a very good thought process, but just understand most municipalities keep 6 months of operating
Right.
expenses
And
in
we've got,
reserve, and
what,
we are far
11?
above that because we haven't been spending that. We won't go below that, Kevin. And I do agree with you. It wouldn't be good financial sense for us to do it. But I do say that it's like everything else. Sometimes you just have to sort of pull off the Band-Aid because parks equipment won't be any cheaper a year from now. That's not necessarily a reason to do it, but if you're going to do it logically. And I think that we've done a very good job of planning this. It's like our tennis courts. I mean, we really probably should have pulled those tennis courts out 3 years ago. Okay. Because concrete was cheaper back then. It just really was. But it's not going to be any cheaper 2 years from now either.
With inflation in mind, I'm just doing a little financial math. Inflation in mind, the opportunity cost of not doing this is greater than what you'd be making interest by not spending it. So then it's a risk analysis of, well, what if something else happens? If you need this, 150K for something else. To Jamie's point, I think we're beyond that. And spreading these projects over the years gives us an opportunity. Well, gosh, summer 2024 was dry and we had challenges. We can't do anything else. Well, glad we didn't buy all of it at the same time, right? Things look good. All right, let's take the next one. Okay, the project went really well. Things looking good for next summer. Maybe we do too. Maybe we need to pick up one of the smaller ones, or maybe things are scary. Maybe we need to hold off. So I like the points you make, Kevin. Director Barnes. You make really good points, really good considerations. I'm glad that those being voiced.
Now go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say.
My last question is, so if we do Veterans Park first, does the Parks Committee have a order of replacement list? Like, what parks are highest priority as far as?
Well, as we discussed, we have kind of two driving forces here. Fern Bluff Park is the highest use. Okay.
Right.
It just is. But Olson Meadows equipment is the most damaged. So I think we'll get the proposals for both, and it's going to be up to the board. Which one do y'all want to do? Okay. Fern Bluff is going to be more expensive. It's a bigger, and we asked for them to look at a couple of extra things for us. Like we're going to take out the sand volleyball court. So there's more equipment. Fern Bluff will be more expensive. But Olson Meadows has the most questionable equipment.
Fern Bluff's also the oldest equipment,
That's
right?
exactly right.
So we're really just going to have to weigh them at the time.
Yeah.
It's also the most used by district homeowners,
Yeah.
whereas Olson Meadows gets a lot of wear and tear from people from outside the district.
That's right.
So we kind of get a little more bang for the buck also. The trade-off is Olson Meadows is closer to,
Oak Brook.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to get on the swings. It's
but-
okay.
But it's a debate to be had.
It is a real debate, and
when-
y'all are just going to have to. And then, of course, there's Brightwater. Brightwater needs some love. I mean, our tree fell down. The equipment is in pretty good shape, but the park looks kind of sad because it's got that big old gaping hole in it. So it's just a really hard decision which one.
So I assume you've already asked for quotes on the rest of the park.
We have. They're doing the whole, just
Okay.
like the whole plan here.
Mhm.
They're doing that for every single park.
Okay, when are we going to see those?
It's,
Hopefully by the end of May.
yeah, they have to slot us in because as they said, they've just got more coming in and
Right. So, and you said that if we, let's say we approve this thing tonight, it won't get installed until May, October.
to
Probably
January.
October.
All right. So that's already in the next fiscal year, isn't it?
Mhm.
So really, the only thing we're going to owe
There's
is
an app.
60% down payment, and the rest gets paid in the next fiscal year, unless we're going to pay it all up front. Right. So, okay.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
What's
In
that?
case you just pay it all up front.
No,
mean,
I wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, no.
I'm just-
exactly. You got nothing. You got no carrot for them to finish the project.
Some accountability there.
on the flip
Well,
side,
and-
if they're part of this buy board thing, you'd think that they've got a good reputation.
Yeah.
You would
But
think.
there's that. The things happen.
They are, this company is really well respected in the industry. And this equipment, like we've talked about before, it's not the most expensive out there, but it is very, very good equipment. It is the same equipment that we've had in Fern Bluff Park, the same manufacturer. And Fern Bluff Park, for what abuse it gets, that equipment has really, really held up. We can do this cheaper. I don't want any board member, we can do this cheaper, but we won't get the longevity from the equipment. And this is my very humble opinion, that we will get with landscape structures. For me, it's trying to hit that a little higher than mid range. We can do, how do I want to say that?
It may not be the Cadillac, but it's certainly not the Geo or Chevy.
No, it's not. No, it's a high end Chevy. That's a good way to put it. And do we really want to go to a, what's
You go.
you got?
The other thing, and I interviewed a lot of playscape people when we redid Stone Canyon. They're so knowledgeable.
They are.
I mean, they studied this. They went to school. They know the age ranges. They understand the safety concerns. They just have so much more knowledge than other people I worked with, and they're very engaging. They're going to work with us to make sure
They know their
we're
craft.
happy
Yeah,
and they're meeting our needs for our community.
that's right. I mean,
So-
what works in our district wouldn't necessarily work in another district, you know? It's like we talked about, do we want every single park to look completely different? Well, I think our residents, and I think as board members, y'all all decided the same general theme and color scheme switched around a little bit per park. That's what works for our community. Okay. It might not work at a neighborhood in Dallas,
Yeah.
you know,
And they weren't trying to push us in any direction.
not at all.
They were really listening.
Yeah, I noticed the individual play, whatever they call them. Remind you of something.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, of course, we're getting old.
Right. Then
Each of the items that are going to be in the park, right? I mean, they list them all, which is great, but they don't show. I mean, they have 5 or 6 different warranty policies. Do we know what these are warranted for in terms of years?
per
It's not on the
per
sheet.
item.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that.
And we talk about anything from 3 years to 100 years.
And it's going to depend on the type of, they can't do a 20-year warranty on everything. Swings wear out. You have to replace the seats, that type of thing. So it's going to be different per.
Right. Okay. I'm just thinking it might be nice to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really influences a decision if we decide to make a decision tonight, but it'd be good to know what those warranty periods are for future parks as well, as well as.
Yeah. They,
I mean, you've got links here, but obviously I can't link to a piece of paper.
yeah, that I should have I'll send you all the actual email. I'll forward you all the emails so the links work.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
Let me see what else.
That's fair.
Sorry, I had to get there, but there's something else. Oh, district gates. The proposals are in your packet right after the general manager's report.
This is Empire. Nice company.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on page 25, there's your bid tabulation. Hector, you, Jeremiah, want to speak to this?
Yeah, I don't think the numbers or anything I didn't grab the packet, but they contacted this company, Viking, Empire, and Bruno.
Why don't you come up to the microphone?
Oh, yeah, come on up.
Sorry.
Sorry, I just threw you to the wolves there.
That's all right.
You don't borrow mine?
I think your mic's off.
Oh,
Yeah, so we contacted the three. One of them wouldn't respond. Viking, I believe it was, didn't give us a call back, email back, wouldn't show up, nothing. So I just took them as non-response. The other two came out, gave us 2 bids, and it's going to be really, really similar products. So, I mean, I don't know either one of them above the other as far as the quality. So
It's quite a
pricing, I guess.
Quite a difference in price.
Yeah.
Almost what, 20 grand?
I did speak with a gentleman that was giving me a price or put some stuff together for the tennis courts, and he uses Empire. He says he likes them. It's the only thing I really know different. But it was one reference. The same guy that met us and gave us, the layout. This guy brought up his name too, and I asked him, I was like, "Is this the same? This guy from Empire?" He's like, "Yeah. I use them everywhere I go." So that was one good reference for Empire.
It's 2 installations, 2 locations where the gates are?
Yeah, it's here in the water tower.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm sorry.
2 places here
2 places here.
and 1 at the top.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. 'Cause I meant here at the community center.
We decided we were going to try the far driveway first. 'Cause
Right.
that's where they come in to do
The
the
trucks
trucks and all of this. And here, the back,
to prevent the cut throughs on the back. Okay.
that's right.
And are they both the ornamental iron? Is that what it looks like?
Yes, they both should be that same black ornamental iron. We had them stay or bid the same product.
Okay.
There will be a little bit of a difference on the way they want to set it up at the tower, but it's just their 2 different ideas on how the gate should slide. Not all. Well,
Either one will be effective?
Yeah, both of them I think will work. Empire's might work a little better because it's going to be just a straight slide. He doesn't think the swing gates are going to work very well. And so,
It's because of that driveway, the way it goes up there in that tree, those
Right.
monster roots. Yeah.
Okay.
kind of agree with them there too. Maybe a little less gap. I'm not really sure how the swing is going to work there at the tower because the hill going up too. So he did have an idea of his own, so I like that too. About
That, and for long-term maintenance as well, if it's actually sliding on something other than having to depend on hinges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balance,
Might be
a
a
lot
lot
of other
better,
stuff, yeah. So do we have power up there already, or does this
Do we
include
have power?
When we redid, I want to say we redid the parking lot, we actually ran 2 sticks of conduit all the way from our little power box. So we'll have power available and internet if we need it. So
Internet.
yeah.
Well, you can get those little readers for the RFID readers.
Yeah.
Right, so we can all get in without having to worry about a keypad.
Yeah, we probably do
You know,
key fobs.
Yeah.
You do key fobs as
So
a thing?
the systems we're installing, what's it, LiftMaster?
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're compatible with MyQ, so you can get them
Yeah,
via internet, or you can just program a fob to it, and you can program up to like 100 fobs or something like that. So,
so you can program it in your car too.
Yes, sir.
I've got a Chamberlain, which is MyQ.
yeah, same here. I have it at home. I love it, and the water tower, the overhead door is a MyQ compatible, so
Oh, cool.
works out pretty good. So.
That sounds like a plan then. And it's cheaper from Empire by a lot.
50% less.
So, okay.
So these bids are ready to go on the fence?
They're
thing?
ready to go when y'all are ready to go.
All right, does this one, do we need to put in a 10% change order for the fence project, do you think?
So we need to approve it for more than.
I've got a limit. I can't imagine that we're going to run into very much. If we do, I'll be shocked. Let me just put it that way, right? So I think these bids are pretty firm.
You're also allowed under the water code. You get an allowance. Yeah, I think it's 25%.
Oh, that's generous.
Or $150,000, whichever is less. And Jenny's already your designated agent for that, so you don't even have to do any other steps.
So for both, for the Veterans Park and for the gate in the two locations, we're covered under the water code then as far as change orders, if we give you the bid amount. Okay. Any other questions for Jeremiah on the fence or the
Good work.
gates?
Great job.
Thanks
Yeah.
for, going through that, going through it with us. And if Viking calls, you tell them they're out. They just, right?
All right. Do we have any?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, perfect.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bid with, what's the name of the company? Whirlex for the Veterans Park.
Okay.
With the, and this, you said this particular quote is for any of the options that you have in here, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So for $125,973.27.
All right. Motion by Director Smith,
I'll second.
second by Director Horton. Any further comment on that one?
Do we want to add a little extra to get the Mom and Me swing?
Yes.
Do we know how much that is?
No, but
You
what
could-
is this, 126,000?
I was just gonna say, you can include it as a change
As a
order
change
after the
order.
fact.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. We
Yeah,
can
you've
just
got
do
lots
that.
of
Yeah.
leeway.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Gives us some leeway.
You might want them dad and me swing too.
A dad and me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The
so
proper
sorry.
term is parent and me.
I'll refrain from the swinger joke right now. All right. Any-
Swimming classes, yeah.
Okay, no more discussion on that, it looks like. So all in favor? The ayes have it, 5-0 on the Veterans Park proposal.
You mean the gates?
No.
Oh, I'm
Veterans
sorry.
Park.
No, that was
Sorry, I
Veterans
wasn't
Park.
listening. That was
That was the
veterans.
big one.
Okay, I
No
got
one
it.
has offered the.
Got it.
I'd like to make a motion that we make a move with the Empire Fence proposal for the gates at the community center and the water tower.
All right, motion by Director Horton to approve the Empire gate proposal, Empire fence
I'll
proposal for
second
the.
that.
Second by Director Smith. Any further discussion? I think
Just a
this-
quick question, Jeremiah. How long have they been in business? I don't know this. I know Pflugerville Fence. I just,
Empire. A long time.
good, okay.
A long time.
Yeah,
A
'cause
long time.
It's so markedly
Yeah.
different, but yeah, good.
Pretty sure they do residential fences too, right? I mean, yeah. Pretty sure I've
They
seen their
do.
stuff.
Oh, the commercial on TV. Empire.
Oh,
Yeah, I know you've heard them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's them?
That's them.
According to their website, since 1998.
Seen their commercials.
Wow.
They look like high-end fences too.
Or was that the Empire carpet cleaner? I
26.
don't. Don't get me to
Hey,
sing.
something
It just
good,
doesn't
right?
work.
All right.
No, they've been in business a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the gate proposal? All right.
I'd like to amend my motion to include the dollar amount, $43,000.
Okay, that $43,000 for the
248.
Empire fence.
248.
The only one going.
If you want to be specific.
That's 43. I rounded up a little bit.
Rounding up's fine.
Well, then
Perfect.
round it up all you want.
We'll need some extra fobs and stuff. So.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All in favor of the motion? Motion carries 5-0. Great. 2 capital projects down. Very
Oh,
nice.
it feels so good to be moving forward.
Let's
It
get them
really
started.
does.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
be so nice.
It really is.
What's the lead time on the fences? Do we know? I should have asked that earlier, but it doesn't really matter. Just curious. Since we
Lead
approved it
time?
tonight, what's the lead time on getting the fences put in?
I'm not sure. I gotta just get with them. We can't set anything in stone until we get the approval. So we-
Okay.
Okay,
Then we'll
Sometime
find
this
out.
Fiscal year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just report back to us when
Sometime this
when
spring.
it looks like they can start on it.
Okay.
Very good. All right, that's
Yeah.
it. That does
Okay,
it.
that's all I
Is there anything
have.
for operations, Hector? Did you have-
Well, just a heads up. Little city in West Texas, Marfa, got hit by a cybersecurity event. Water tanks overflowing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Just want to let all the board members know that we are air gapped security wise for our facilities. So there's not anybody can come in and come in through the web or whatever.
It's not like a Nest thermostat where someone can come in from the
Correct. Yeah.
The
So
Internet of Things, right? Is that what
we're,
they call it?
Exactly. Yeah. We're air gapped on that, so
Good.
we'll be fine, and we continue. I mean, these guys are getting really creative with their, penetrations on water systems, wastewater systems, electrical, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a never-ending thing. So
Do you know, and probably there's not enough detail in the media, like, do they have like a SCADA type system that should alert them and they're hacking that too? I mean,
they should.
okay.
I
So
mean,
if they didn't, then they probably hacked that too, is the assumption you can make.
exactly. So, yeah, and I mean, it's really nice to have these SCADA systems, supervisory control and data acquisition systems in place. I mean, you can control stuff from your phone, but if you can control stuff from your phone, chances are a hacker can too. So, yeah, I kind of like it. We only employ the DA part of the SCADA, so just the data acquisition. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking to incorporate some stuff, but if we do add more controls, then we strongly believe in two-factor authentication. Just all this added security. That way, if somebody tries to hack in, I'll get a notification, or Jeremiah will get a notification saying, "Hey, somebody's trying to get in. Is it you?" And if you don't provide that number or a yes or whatever, they're not getting in. So
Two-factor authentication. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
So you get a text or something that says, if it's really you, here's your code.
exactly. So
Don't know anything.
yeah, it's
Cool.
It's very
we
scary.
take that one seriously, because I mean, if
Oh, yeah.
they can hack into a water system, they can do some damage. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Don't want that.
But anyway, and that's all I got. I mean, we've been spending a lot of time with the water line over at at Harryman at Great Oaks. We will find the main line. I think at this point we've already spent so much time looking. We're probably just going to go for a new tap and be done with it. That way we've got it covered. I mean, yeah, just digging out there is we're pulling our hair out, and there's no sense. But and last thing, I was talking to a vendor today, and he said, and we're talking about lead times on parts and equipment. Things are getting much worse. A lot of utility material parts and stuff are made in Israel, so the lead times are getting longer and longer. So fortunately, the board has provided us with leeway to purchase spare parts. So our water tower is fairly well stocked with spare parts, clamps, tapping saddles, all that good stuff. So hopefully we don't have something that we haven't acquired a spare part for or whatever. So yeah, we'll just keep going from there. So far so good. Praise God.
Appreciate it. I feel like we're in good hands. I appreciate everything you do for us. It's great.
We've got some good backup. So
That's so nice of you to say.
That's what Jeremiah says about you.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
I knew he was talking about Jeremiah.
it's always it's about the team. So
Yeah.
and you guys, not because you're here or whatever. I mean, you're definitely a part of it, and we appreciate you for giving us the support that we need to make it work.
I will add to that a little bit, and just being in the water business as long as we all have, that is the biggest mistake that any utility, but specifically water, can do, is to not plan. We do our best to not be reactionary. It's not good for our residents. It's not good for our budget. It's not good. So we try to not operate on the reaction. Plan ahead. Think about what we have the spare parts. Cybersecurity. I would venture to guess we are far and away above some of these small towns, because it's hard to justify the cost until you're hit. And yeah,
Maybe it would have been worth it.
exactly. Oh, that
Plan-
few $100s would have been money well spent.
Planned maintenance goes a long way for keeping emergencies away. So
Exactly.
'cause that's what you don't want is an emergency.
That's right.
The fewer though, you can't avoid them all, but the fewer that you have, the better off.
I mean, we will
Amen.
react, but we try our very best to not only plan with a reactionary mindset.
You know, look what the Kubota taught us, right? In terms of reactionary, being able to react quickly to.
That's exactly
emergencies.
100%. Thank you for
So,
bringing that up.
yeah,
That
I
thing
mean,
has
that
paid for
was-
itself so many
yeah.
times.
I think that was one of the first things I voted on when I joined the board.
All right.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So some
Close to it.
wise man somewhere once said that it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not,
Not
have,
have
it.
it.
So
Right.
I bet he was a hoarder too.
That's
my
Sorry, was
good.
that on the record? Can we
Oh,
strike
yeah,
that?
it was.
Time comes.
Too late.
That's
Gee whiz.
all I have.
All right. Thank you for your report, Mr. Operator. Next item up, Budget Committee, Director Barnes.
I'm
Do we-
sorry, Mr. President, real quick, I'm sorry, I just need to back up the train real quick. On number 8, help me out, H.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. So just as a reminder, we've I think touched on this the last month or two with respect to drought contingency plans.
Mhm.
These are required to be approved in 5-year cycles. The 5-year cycle is up, the deadline being May 1st. In years past, y'all have adopted and implemented the City of Round Rock's DCP. Jenny and I have discussed, and we don't think there's any reason to not do the exact same thing this year, for this in the next 5 years. So accordingly, I'm going to ask the board to vote to approve and implement the City of Round Rock's DCP again. And I do not have the resolution on hand tonight, but assuming y'all approve it, then I'll send it over to Jenny for George to execute.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move that we adopt City of Round Rock's drought contingency plan. Motion by Director Sabatino,
Second.
second by Director Barnes. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, directors.
Absolutely.
I guess we can.
Now, Director Barnes, Budget Committee, do you have anything new?
Nothing really new, just kind of an update on our spending. We already kind of touched on a lot of it this month. For the month of March, we had an income of $228,836 with expenses of about somewhere in the neighborhood of about $280,000. However, as everyone here can do math, you know that presents a negative number. However, for the year, we are well in the positive. So everything balances out in the long run. So we are going to start looking at budget here in the next couple of months. And I think that's about it.
Very good. All right. Community Center Committee, any updates there?
I met with our architect and the contractor that did our mud office install. Spoke to them about some of our needed maintenance issues around here at the community center. I mean, he was seeing things that I hadn't even really seen. One of the big things, or not one of the big, is our guttering system. We've got the old school gutters up here with all the seams and everything in them, which is causing our fascia boards to rot out. So we're looking at quite a list of maintenance issues. And I'll just bring information to the board once we kind of get that settled.
All righty. Very good.
But we have new doors.
Huh?
I said, but we have new doors.
Yes, we
You
do.
didn't lead with the doors. How could you not lead with the doors?
I asked y'all not to say that word again.
Sorry, pedestrian administrations.
I know, yeah. Oh.
All right. Deed Restriction Committee, Director Horton, do we have anything new?
Yeah, there's this ongoing thing with the homeowner with the splits, mini splits. The committee's having challenges trying to get them to cooperate, and this is probably something that they're gonna need board involvement from. I haven't seen them say that yet, but it looks like we might need to get involved to try to maybe send legal letters and so forth to try to get compliance. That's just my assessment off the cuff. It's kind of got to the point where it's a stalemate. Where he's complied with the initial request for the relocating the mini split outside units that are in sight, but he doesn't want to move the ones that are on the second floor,
Right.
on top of the patio.
Which are visible from a street,
Are they? So you can still see them from the seat.
counter to his
Your point of view.
protestations.
Okay, really?
I've got a photo.
Okay. So anyway, that's probably something that's going to take some direct involvement from us.
Okay. All right, we'll keep on top of that and monitor that. Very good. All right, Director Barnes, Security Committee, do we have anything new?
Nothing really formally, except for we do have deputies that are driving around the neighborhood and they are pulling people over. I personally witnessed, I was out walking my dog at the corner of Klamath Falls and Glen Canyon. I saw a deputy, somebody, which I'm assuming ran that stop sign or at least rolled through it. And that deputy pulled a U-turn and chased that car down, pulled him over. I don't know. I turned off on Broken Branch, so I didn't see the outcome of it. But they are driving around, and I have seen them pull people over. So, I mean, that's the only update I have.
All right, fair enough. Communications Committee, Director Smith, do we have anything?
Well, I think you may have seen that Janie has sent out a MailChimp with several topics in it. But what we're going to do is, what I want to do is I want to take some of that content, except for the bulk trash collection. I'm going to ditch that because I won't be putting this out until beginning of May. Put out a newsletter that includes a lot of that content, along with an indication that the green belts are being mowed every 3 weeks so that people understand that we are going to provide, the ponds are being treated, but it's a long, slow process being exacerbated by fertilizer running off from homeowners' properties. And also as Director Barnes was just talking about, speed and stop sign compliance through the district. So that's my current plan for communication in May.
All right, thank you for your efforts. Okay, we're gonna come to the legal and the attorney's report. We will vote after we go into closed session, but we gotta go into closed session first to get some legal advice. So according to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code and the Texas Open Meetings Act, that authorizes the Board to convene executive session for certain purposes. These purposes include receiving legal advice from its attorney, Section 551.071. So time right now is 7:16, and we will meet in executive session.
Johnny on the spot.
Yeah. It's already out. I can see.
Jeremiah is the model of